In this video I'm going to show you how to dress one of my favourite sea trout patterns. It's an incredibly easy pattern to dress, but a very effective pattern. It incorporates the good old black and silver, which we all know, or certainly most of us know, are two killer combinations for sea trout. It's going to be dressed on a stinger or secret weapon mount, tandem mount, whatever you want to call it. It's got a size 6 partridge Nordic tube fly single on the back end, and a Attitude extra salt, again from partridge, in a size 4 at the front end. The mount is there's 20 kilo braid in the middle with shrink tubing over. If you check out my other videos, you'll see how to create this mount. A very easy and very quick way of creating your mounts. So I'm going to begin by attaching thread. Here I'm using some Vivus 10O in red. Just take that about halfway down. You can see a little bump about halfway down here. That's essentially where the shrink tubing ended. So that will create a little mount. So don't be afraid of actually building the thread up in front of that, just to get rid of that, which will make it easier just to attach the body. For the body, I'm actually using flat holographic braid in silver. Let's take a short length of that. Just attach that at the front end, like so. Take the thread down towards the head of the fly, and then just wind this down the body in touching turns. You can, if you want to, you can use holographic tinsel and then rib with wire. To be honest, because of the uneven nature of these mounts, because of the shrink tubing and so forth, I tend to prefer to use the braid. It's because it's braided, essentially there's lots of different filaments in there, and I tend to find that is quite robust in its own right. So from the teeth of the fish don't, if it bites into it, it doesn't actually just fray in its entirety. So that's looking good. Just tie that off towards the head. Next step is some black Arctic fox. Just got a piece here, and that's going to, I want that protruding just past that trailing hook. Okay, so just past that, these fine little ends just trailing past is perfect. What I don't want is that, and then basically the trailing hook being really obvious. So I want this trailing just past that hook. So it's going to mask the presence of that hook to a certain extent. And when you're happy with this positioning, it's going to do a pinch and loop, and just secure that with a few touching turns. Do a couple behind, and that's perfect. Snip off the excess as close as you can, like so. Next step is we got some blue flash, like the old Lure Flash mobile material. This is in blue. You don't need too much in there, probably say 6 to 8 strands or so. And try and get the ends finishing at different intervals as well, rather than having them all finishing in a clodge basically. So just kind of get them working at different intervals. Easiest way then, just take it back under the thread slide it up behind the thread, up and over, and that will introduce it to the top of the fly for you. Oh, that's actually slid off there, my apologies. Let's do one more. Oh, it's gone behind there. Okay, there you go. If they start messing around, just put a bit of saliva on them and then they won't. Just do one more turn, or two more turns, and then just slide the tag ends down so that your longest fibres end around where the longest fibres of the Arctic fox ends. That looks perfect. Then when you're happy, just take a couple of turns to secure. And what you'll see by introducing it from behind the thread and sliding it up and over, what you'll find is that it rides perfectly down the centre of the mount. Just snip off the excess, like so. And then over this, over the blue flash, we're going to put some Peacock. I do love Peacock in my sea trout flies. It's going to take around 4 or 5 strands, and where I select them, I usually select them up the top of the peacock eye. I do like those finer ends. So there is normally a natural curvature in the eye feathers or the eye fibres, and try and work with them. Again, don't be afraid of adding a bit of saliva to get them to behave. What you can also do is you can use your nail just to get them to curl a bit more if you want to, rather than just sticking up. Sorry, just manipulating them a little bit. Like so. And try and introduce them again, marry them up so they're just ending around where the same place as the blue flash and the Arctic fox ends. Then pinch a loop, 2 or 3 turns to secure. That's looking good. There's one short section there. I'm just going to snip that off. Okay, so that's looking really good. Snip off the tag ends. What we're going to do then, we're going to use a head hackle, and we're going to use a black schlappen feather. This is going to be a head hackle. Tie in the base. This is long enough that we shouldn't need hackle pliers. And try and encourage the fibres apart, and try and double them up to stroke them back. What this will enable us to do is not trap, when we do start winding, it's not going to trap the feathers on top of each other. We want that movement from these feathers. Just keep stroking it back. When you're happy, then start winding. As you wind, just keep stroking them back down the fly. I'll put one in front of the other. They're going to stick up all over the place for the time being. That's fine, don't worry about that. We're actually going to brush them back over the fly to finish it off. With 3 or 4 turns, that's perfect. A couple of turns just to secure, 2 in front, 2 behind, and then 1 in front of the eye, and then you can snip the base. What we then do is just put these, just swipe them back down the fly, and then just tidy up the head, going over the base of the hackle to create a nice neat head. And that's it. Turns there. And that's the fly finished. Really, really simple pattern, but really, really effective. It's going to whip finish, and then later on I'll add some resin or super glue just to secure the head in place. Again, you can tie these in a range of different lengths, and also you can vary. You know, you can put red in the wing, you can vary the colour of the head hackle. There's lots of different variations you can do with the fly, but it's a really, really simple fly, but a very, very effective fly. It's one I certainly wouldn't be without in my fly box when I go sea trout fishing. So I do suggest you make a few, and if you do and use them, I hope they bring you luck. Tight lines.